validity. Now what some sports fans fail to realize is an argument needs validity.
I don't even remember if I've ever seen LeBron posterize somebody.
What is validity, you may ask? It's the idea of being logical or factually sound. Let's pick one of these words to define as well. Let's choose logical. So when you're making a debate, you need logic or a valid response. I don't see a lot of these anymore. Back in the day, the mainstream answer to why Michael Jordan's better than LeBron James is because he has 6 rings, LeBron has 3. I'm aware he has 4 now, but back in the day he only had 3. And at the time, that does sound like a good answer. I let that answer slide multiple times when I was younger. But is it a logical and is it a valid answer? No, because the precedent of the GOAT has never been based off rings. If it was based off rings, Robert Horry would be the 4th greatest player of all time. Bill Russell would be the greatest player of all time. And do y'all niggas really think Casey Jones is one of the greatest players of all time? That nigga's so old he got a fucking slave name, nigga. Why is it not valid that 6 rings beats 4 rings? It's because we got a little something that makes the world go round for these LeBron James fans. It's called context. The fact is, if you talk about any player in history, NBA or NFL, if you have to add context to reason why he's great, to casual fans, that'll take away some of the greatness. Because if you don't need any context and you can just read this dude's resume and tell he's the greatest to ever do it, that adds so much more to your GOAT debate. Such as, like I said earlier, LeBron's 4-6 finals record. Add context, you can make it make sense. Compared to Michael Jordan's 6-0 finals record. There's no context that's needed to be 6-0. That is the greatest finals record ever. As you already noticed if you pay attention to any sports, no matter how much context you put around certain incidents, events that these people had no way of changing, no matter how good they played, it will still mark your legacy. And to some people, it might make your legacy even greater. But either way, it doesn't have people all convinced that you're the GOAT. But this video, it really has nothing to do with MJ and LeBron in the debating sense. Because I think there's a more valid and logical argument to be made about a new GOAT debate that doesn't even have to do with basketball. Think of this dude, Drew Brees. Nobody will argue to you that Drew Brees was better than Tom Brady, but it's not even that crazy of a comparison statistically. Why is that? Because to understand Drew Brees' career, you need a load of context to show you how this dude was so dominant in the regular season, put up good postseason stats, but just didn't have the team to do it to finish. But for Brady, it's complete opposite. Due to the lack of context, you need to understand how great he is. General public will think you're insane for thinking somebody like Drew Brees could possibly be better than Thomas Edward Brady. This isn't me voicing my opinion. This is me voicing how I see the casual audience of sports views the greatest players of all time. All the greatest players in every sport need the littlest of context to know how great they were. But with that being said, for as little of context put into the Tom Brady GOAT argument, I feel like we're about to have to add a lot of context that nobody thought was needed to Brady's career. Just because there's this one little quarterback in Kansas City. And I feel like the context we'll have to start adding to Brady's almost flawless career will start diminishing him in the eyes of the public in the future to be the GOAT in the general public's eye. So let's go to the 2001 season where it all began for Thomas Edward Brady. This was his first season starting at quarterback for a full season. So 18 touchdowns, 12 interceptions, that could be a little acceptable. It's growing pains. But this Patriots roster went 11-5 and went all the way to the Super Bowl. Not in spite or because of Tom Brady, but because of their defense. This is a theme you'll see with a lot of Tom Brady teams as well. When it came playoff time, they didn't allow above 17 points once. And they couldn't because they had the 19th ranked offense this year. And yes, a team with the 19th ranked offense won the Super Bowl. Now, I want to ask you this. Did the Patriots win the Super Bowl because of Tom Brady? I would say no. Which, as a first-year starter, that's not too crazy. Like, you won the Super Bowl in the first place, that should be enough. How are you going to put that as a blemish against his resume, Zaza? This nigga Mahomes, bro. You don't need any context to see why this dude is great. Watch any of his games. You're going to see at least one impressive throw every game. And a lot of these young cats nowadays just use the eye test to attest to how good players are. And I assume it's going to be like that in the future. From his first season throwing 50 touchdowns to his most recent season winning his back-to-back Super Bowls. He has such a flawless resume that I think Tom Brady in the future will have more blemishes that you'll need context to explain more than Patrick Mahomes. There is 0 blemishes on this guy's record except for Mahomes is 1-3 against Tom Brady. And for this debate, that matters a lot because Tom Brady is the direct comparison of Patrick Mahomes. And these 3 losses are the 3 blemishes, the 3 contexts you need to pull Mahomes all the way back to earth just because who he lost to. I will be analyzing 2 of these Tom Brady and Mahomes games. Let's start off with the first loss. The 2018 Chiefs might be the greatest offense of all time. And in a year, they went from the 5th best offense in the NFL, not too bad, to arguably the greatest offense of this generation because of one player. And you might say, Zaza, like, okay, they didn't win the Super Bowl this year, so what? So what? These Chiefs had possibly one of the worst fucking defenses I've ever seen. That year, they led the whole league in first downs allowed, yards per play, and completions and attempts. And this team never made it past the divisional round. They won 1 playoff game before Mahomes showed up. And then in his first year, he took this Kansas City team all the way to the 2018 AFC Championship game where they're 1 offsides play away from winning it. And this leads us to our first conundrum. Patrick Mahomes lost to Tom Brady. Why does it matter? Because this one loss against Tom Brady could be the counter argument for anything ever. Because like I said, if you just look at the resume and you see Tom Brady beat Patrick Mahomes, you're gonna be like, GOAT debate over. And I believe that this game will eventually fuel a lot of fire for this debate in the future. 31-9. Something that will forever haunt Chiefs fans forever. Because after going 16-3 all season counting the playoffs, the Chiefs met the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. That Tampa defense absolutely fucking rocked them. Truthfully, one of the most underrated teams in NFL history. This Tampa team took a massive fucking shit on the Kansas City Chiefs, leading to Mahomes' worst playoff game ever. No matter how much highlights you'll see from this Super Bowl of Mahomes slinging the ball, it couldn't get it done. Why? Because he was outmanned and outmatched. Why do you say that? They had such a better record. This Tampa team was fucking loaded. If you go player by player, this Chiefs team does not hold up to this Tampa Bay team. With guys like, of course, Tom Brady, Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Rob Gronkowski, Ndamukong Suh, Vita Vea, Devin White, Levante David, Shaq Barrett, and Antoine Winfield. And the offensive line was literally just a bunch of fucking nobodies because of injury. The Chiefs had no chance. But this is the second blemish on Patrick Mahomes' 3-year career already. But these blemishes, like I said, stand out as black marks because who he lost it to. Because again, like I'm gonna do it again, pull it up like I'm holding a resume. Patrick Mahomes has lost to Tom Brady in the playoffs twice now. With 0 context and 0 not knowing, it just looks like Brady outdueled Mahomes every single time. When simply that is just not true. He had the better team almost every single time, but he didn't necessarily play better every single time. But since that game, he's won back-to-back Super Bowls, with his best receiver being Rashee Rice and Juju Smith-Schuster in both of them. And not to mention, Mahomes has 2 MVPs already, something Tom Brady wouldn't eclipse until 6 years in 2007 when he won his first one. From a first 10-year stretch of a career, if we are comparing these two and Patrick Mahomes hasn't even hit 10, people in the future are gonna rate Patrick Mahomes over Tom Brady. But since he lost to him 3 times, that's where the debate will get fucking spicy in the future. Because logic says this, context says this, but no matter what, he lost to him. It's just like Michael Jordan, LeBron. Logic will tell you this is a better passer, he has more points than him, he has more rebounds. But this nigga is 4-6 and he isn't a killer like Michael Jordan. That's what I think will make this GOAT debate so exciting to watch in the future, and I hope Patrick Mahomes does well for the rest of his career because I'm ready for these arguments. I'm ready for these type of talks about the quarterback position in the NFL. But with that being said, like, subscribe, and I'll catch you later. Peace.
As long as try to make a diving attempt, Mahomes who tiptoes inside the 10.